Hello and welcome, everyone. My presentation on the alchemy of life will focus on the practical application and understanding of using 7 key alchemical processes, specifically for understanding how these alchemical processes apply in our daily lives and from a very practical basis. Much of this material is based on and can be referenced in Dennis Hauck's book, The Emerald Tablet, which is really good. And he covers many aspects of the psychological and spiritual alchemy, as you probably can tell. Everyone in this symposium has probably already experienced all of these processes that I will talk about in this incarnation. We all choose to purchase this ticket to this, what I call the terrestrial funhouse of life, for the purpose of experience and evolution. Knowing which alchemical process you are experiencing and what's coming up next will help you appreciate every experience in life, regardless of how horrible or amazing, thus assisting us with this concept the Rosicrucians referred to as peace profound. Now let's get started on this quick journey through the alchemy of life. Rosicrucians and alchemy. While alchemy operates on all levels, the focus for most Rosicrucians was to focus on spiritual alchemy, or the process of using the alchemical processes to transform oneself from a figurative crude lead to a refined gold. This excellent display at Rosicrucian Park in San Jose that Fred or Dennis Hauck curated it captures the key 7 alchemical processes and the principles behind them that I will share with you today, and specifically as they relate to you and your daily life. This display was a great interactive experience and is a precursor to the Alchemical Museum that is in development at Rosicrucian Park. What is alchemy? Is it transformation or transmutation? Maybe both. In life, alchemy is about processes through practice, action, and experience. It is about perfecting yourself through release and refinement. It's about moving from a crude primal source to a refined. It's practical, theoretical, philosophical, spiritual, psychological, of which sometimes I refer to as just all personal. And it can also be a complex system of symbolism and mysticism. It's chemistry, physics, psychology, and spiritual. And most importantly, the alchemy occurs on all levels simultaneously, above and below, inside and outside, physical and metaphysical. This is a picture from Rosicrucian Park of what an alchemist study and workshop may have looked like, but I've got to believe, knowing alchemy, it would have been more like a practical kitchen, maybe a little more messy, with preparation, experimentation, many books open, written notes everywhere, and of course, cooking always in process. Much like life itself. The alchemist's kitchen is much more than you see with your eyes. It not only involved herbs, metals, organics, and many other instruments, but just as importantly, it also included cosmic timing, conscious will, higher love, ancient wisdom, and many other things unseen. Inside and outside, above and below, just like life. You are the alchemist, and the world is your kitchen. And I ask, what are you cooking up in life? Are you sometimes confused about the preparation or cooking instructions, or missing some of the needed ingredients. Or maybe you just don't have the time and patience for cooking. Most importantly, be conscious of all actions and thoughts, for this will influence not only how your cooking turns out, but the physical and spiritual results. And it always takes time and work. Live like the alchemist. Ask yourself, are you in harmony with the cycles and seasons of nature? Are you in full communion with the master within? Is your work in alignment with natural law and divine will? You may not have all this figured out, but let me share this ancient process of unfoldment and transformation that has been occurring literally since the beginning of time. Alchemy is daily life at all levels. Don't get me wrong. I love the mystical, spiritual, and philosophical aspects and of course the symbolism of alchemy. But there's one thing that has helped me in life is acknowledging these key 7 alchemical processes that we experience literally in our daily life. And I know it sounds kind of theoretical, but it's real. It has allowed me to move through life in a happy state of peace profound because I know where I am in the process, and I'm making choices and taking action every day, every moment. One of the key Hermetic laws is that everything is changing and change is continuous. This applies to our lives incarnate and transitional. It implies continuous unfoldment of our personal soul and its purpose. Now, wouldn't it be great if everything was predictable, sequential, known, and we just do the work and we achieve oneness? Alchemy and life is an art and a science. In life, everything doesn't always go as planned, and sometimes we must wing it or adjust things as they play out and be flexible and aware of what the master within is teaching us or exposing us to. Rarely is the work completely done. To figure everything out in just one lifetime may be impossible, but living in awareness of where you are in the process of life and your spiritual evolution will help you assess where you need to adjust and do work. This is where the alchemy of life comes into play. I propose to you today that this process is well known to alchemists, but today I shall focus on the alchemy of you in life. At the end of each day, know that life's situation is ever changing, so be the alchemist. I must introduce you to one esoteric reference to alchemy before I get into the nuts and bolts, and understand this well as it applies on all levels. In the Kibayian, there is a text referred to as the divine paradox. I'm just going to read some excerpts here. The half-wise imagine that they may defy natural laws. Such are vain and presumptuous fools, and they are broken against the rocks and torn asunder by the elements by reason of their folly. The truly wise, knowing the nature of the universe by the art of alchemy, transmute that which is undesirable into that which is worthy and thus triumph. Transmutation, not presumptuous denial, is the tool of the master, the Kibayian. You exist and work on all levels: physical, biological, emotional, mental, or psychological, astral, spiritual, divine, cosmic. While some of these levels may be temporal, others eternal. Your happiness, health, and harmony require a holistic awareness and nurturing of all these levels in order to fulfill your destiny in this incarnation. In relation to the physical body, the Rosicrucian teachings teach us about human anatomy, breathing, nutritional needs, health, and so on. In reference to the emotional mental, we are encouraged to continuously expand our minds and develop awareness and mastery of our psychological health. Many want to only focus on the astral spiritual level. While this is important, neglecting or even denying these other levels will lead to suffering and confusion, thus impacting your ability to focus on spiritual work. And finally, being one with the divine on all these levels allows the highest energies of light, life, and love to flow into all these levels and thus assist you in fulfilling your destiny. The alchemists talk of this stone that's not a stone. I propose you are the Philosopher's Stone in mind, body, and soul. The goal of finding this stone somewhere else has been the foolish quest of many. Maybe this metaphorical stone I speak of is in shambles, cracked, just dust, or maybe many pieces. But you are the Philosopher's Stone. Are you ready to find it within yourself? Then, as I have said, you must do the work. The alchemy of life and the 7 key processes. Let me just quickly go through a general summary of these key 7 stages from a purely mechanical perspective. Bear with me. We have calcination, reduce to ashes through fire. Dissolution, add the ashes to water. Separation, filtration, and then discarding any ungenuine or unworthy material. Conjunction, recombination of these saved elements from separation. Fermentation, growth from the new conjunct compounds. Distillation, purify a liquid by heating it until it vaporizes to increase its purity. And coagulation, change a solid or semi-state, moving that to a stable state, if you will. Now let's dive into life's practical understanding, potentially my interpretation and application of the alchemical processes or stages that I speak of. Calcination. This process is where things are reduced to ashes through fire. Psychologically, this may be the destruction of the ego and all its defensive mechanisms and attachments. Personally, it's a humbling process. Maybe manifesting in your physical life as a seemingly insurmountable physical or material obstacle or condition or even a situation. Here are just some examples that I've put on here of maybe how you may have experienced the calcination process in life. Loss of a loved one, like a family member, spouse, child, or maybe even your favorite pet of many years. Maybe everything you thought about your perception of God is turned upside down. Maybe a serious injury, accident, or illness that changes your whole life. Or something almost everybody can relate to, a divorce or a deep relationship breakup. It could even be a serious loss of all or much that you own, like your house because of a fire or storm. Maybe your spiritual journey or teachings are thrown into question. Another that we don't like to experience in life is when maybe someone you have trusted has betrayed you physically or mentally. Or the typical mundane, your job or career ends unexpectedly. How many of you experienced any of these or felt like your whole world has fallen apart and everything is gone and life must be reevaluated? These are the darkest of times. What doesn't kill you or make you crazy insane in this process, know that it will make you stronger if you move on through the alchemical process of calcination, not in denial, but in acceptance. There can be sadness, depression, anger, pain, and many other negatives. Acknowledge the process for what it is and reflect, but do not stop or give up. Look and move forward. Once you have accepted the ashes as an opportunity for transmutation or transformation, you're ready to move on. The process of dissolution. This is where we add those ashes to water and dissolve. Maybe where you start picking up the pieces that are real to you through the deepest reflection. This is an opportunity for total immersion in the unconscious, non-rational, what we sometimes call the feminine esoterically, or the rejected parts of our minds. This is also maybe where you have a further breaking down of the artificial structures that you built up in your psyche. It's also an opportunity for the conscious mind to let go of control and allow the surfacing of buried or suppressed stuff, potentially baggage. Maybe even the opening of floodgates of emotion and limitations, potentially self-imposed, to generate new strength from the emotional waters held back. These are just some of the few examples that I have presented here on the dissolution as how it may relate to life. You may even have your own past memories of some of these types of experience in dissolution. It is an opportunity to go within and see what is real or truth based on your heart, not your mind, not what you've been programmed to. It is a good time of reflection of what you have left. Maybe evaluate a new spiritual interphase or journey in life, or something as simple as beginning a new chapter of physical and inner development, like starting workouts, yoga, a new job or career. The process of separation. I love this process. This is where you discard any ungenuine or unworthy material and reclaim your dreams that have been suppressed by your masculine, rational part of our minds. A time to review formerly hidden material and decide what to discard and what to reintegrate into our refined personality. Then the process of letting go of the self-inflicted constraints to your true nature. Here are just some of the examples. Maybe a yard sale to get rid of all that stuff that doesn't matter or have value to you now. A reevaluation of all agreements made with your family, friends, or even society. Maybe a release of previous undesirable or unhealthy expectations, or even leaving your old belief system or societal programming behind. The process of conjunction. This is where you recombine the saved elements from the separation process into a new substance. This is a time of empowerment of your true self, a union of both the feminine and masculine aspects of our personalities, esoterically speaking. And you must discern what needs to be done to achieve lasting enlightenment or happiness in life. It's a time of new clarity, confidence, and resources. Some of the possible examples: starting a new chapter of your life and new self, moving forward. Doing something that you've always wanted to do, like travel, art, or self-employment. Taking control of a situation by making choices and actions. Starting a new career, job, or venture that is in alignment with your new self. Starting a new physical health plan that nurtures your body and mind. Most importantly, following your newly established passion, drive, focus, or purpose. The process of fermentation. This is a process that cannot be rushed, as it involves growth from the new conjunct compounds, as well as the continued release of the old and opening of opportunity of the new. This is death and resurrection to a new level of being and self. Spiritually, this process will probably involve deeper prayer, meditation, a desire for mystical union, a breakdown of the personality, and transformation in the highest sense. Maybe inspiration of spiritual energy from higher planes that reanimates, energizes, and enlightens. It's a great time to reflect. Some examples in life may be a spiritual or personal retreat to allow time for reflection and more clarity of plans. Intentionally choosing to be single for a few years to allow culmination of self. Restarting spiritual studies with a new depth of focus and application. More personal time traveling or hiking in order to reflect and experience alone. Spending time, more depth, understanding more depth about people around you and people in your life. Nurturing new relationships, or even ones that you've reestablished because of this process or renewed. And waiting for the right timing to take action or move forward. Patience. The process of distillation. This is where we metaphorically purify by heating until the pure vaporizes and is captured to increase its purity. Personally, this is perfecting the soul through continuous raising of consciousness through release and regrounding. Psychospiritually, this could involve this stimulation and exercising of the psychic forces to ensure that you've addressed any impurities from the inflated ego or deep subconscious prior to the final stage. Emotionally, it may be an introspection to the degree that the psyche is raised to its highest level possible, free from emotions, cut off even from one's personal identity. And physically or materially, it could be refining or fine-tuning your plans based on reflection and assessment in the fermentation process. Once again, some of the examples of the distillation as it applies in life could be a continuous practice and exercise of everything you know in your sanctum, at work, in school, at home, and in relationships. Intentionally placing yourself in situations that are challenging. Pursuing opportunities by taking some risks in business or career, or even in life. spiritually doing the work in service and in light and love, removing judgment and expectation from your daily life and relationships. And finally, the process of coagulation. Changing a solid to a semi-state. This is a time of new confidence that is beyond all things in knowing of accomplishment and fulfillment. Be the Philosopher's Stone on all levels. Be one with the Master within and jointly one with the all. See every day as an amazing experience and an opportunity and peace profound. Be in your groove, your dharma in life. Some examples we may have here are where you live in a Christ-like consciousness at home, in your sanctum, at work, and in public, where the conversations with the Master within are routine. Your work in daily life is rewarding and purposeful. Naturally, being kind to everyone, regardless of the situation. And where being alone is peaceful and not like being lonesome. Everything is perfect. When you reach that goal that you've been working on, the work is not done in life. You must continue. Pray, read, reread, work, and be ready for the next adventure, opportunity, or alchemical process that appears in your life. For everything is changing. Finally, the great work of life on the highest realm requires the capitulation of the lower self to the higher self in order for the sacred marriage or union to be successful. With the all, or God, if you will, like all other marriages, it's a dance, an exploration, work, a series of unfoldment and continuous adjustment, and lots of communication. And like any other marriage or relationship, if you're unwilling to listen, understand, do the work, be responsible and respectful, then marriage will be bumpy and not fun at all. Sometimes successfully getting through the trials and tribulations will lead us to a stronger and happier marriage. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. In the physical world, it is our ego that is our undoing. And in the spiritual world, it is our lower self and ego that is the thing that holds us back or keeps us back from the sacred marriage. Life requires continuous work and transformation, both above and below. And this is my little cartoon of life. In closing, following, if everything was perfect and everything just flowed smoothly and we're done, it'd be great. But that's not the way life works. So while it's easy to lay out, here's the different steps from a different perspective. Calcination, your tower of life explodes, or a huge lightning bolt sparks your consciousness. Boom. Dissolution, rebirth through water. You reflect emotionally and internally, seeking out that was what was truth to you at the moment when that happened, or where you are in that process. Separation, separating out through filtration, letting go of stuff, choosing what you want to keep going forward. Conjunction, putting everything you've decided to keep all together to create anew. Fermentation, giving things time to process internally and externally for just the right timing for rebirth and a new dawn. Distillation, refining your new self, plans, actions, or even your overall mindset, as well as your understanding of the master within. And coagulation. Finally, it's not really done, it's not really finally, but you're reaching your goal that you had set forth. Mastery of life, if you will, whether in the material world or in the spiritual world. When you and your ego think you have it all figured out, here we go again. That all being said, the process is consistent. Sometimes you may need to do more work in a particular stage, and others may get through stages very quickly because you've become an expert at it. And moving through the process without resistance or denial. Sometimes you may need to do a loop back to any one of these other processes at any time, any day, or any year. Be ready to accept, reflect, adjust, and act. Most importantly, always look forward and keep your eyes on the heart, on the gold. Enjoy your time in this terrestrial funhouse with your journey of unfoldment and evolution. Remember, it's not really work if you're having a good time.